Evening. Welcome to our Kalihi Valley Neighborhood Board number 16 meeting. Today is Wednesday, August 9th, 2023, and it is now 7:01 p.m. Rules of speaking. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to click the raise hand icon, and when recognized by the chair, to address comments to the chair. Speakers are encouraged to keep their comments under 2 minutes, and those giving reports are encouraged to keep their reports under 3 minutes. Please ensure your microphone is muted unless you are speaking. Please state your first and last name for the record before moving into the comments or questions. Written testimony may also be submitted via email using the contact information listed on the Neighborhood Commission Office website. Please silence all electronic devices now. Note, the board may take action on any agenda item as required by the State Sunshine Law, HRS Chapter 92. Specific issues not listed on this agenda cannot be voted on unless properly added to the agenda. First up, city monthly reports. We have the Honolulu Fire Department.
Good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm firefighter Alan Castillo, firefighter 3 Alan Castillo at the Kalihi Fire Station. For your statistics for July, there was 2 nuisance fires in the area, which include rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle, 66 medicals, and 3 motor vehicle crash collisions. Your fire safety tip for this month is fire and fall prevention. There's a web address right here. I'll show it to you after I read this. Help ensure the safety of our esteemed elders. Implementing prevention and preparedness practices will promote independence and reduce frequency of injury or death from home fires and falls. Learn more at this website. Number 1, stay in the kitchen when frying food and cooking on the stovetop. Keep a lid nearby. If a pan of food catches fire, slide a lid over it and turn off the burner. Remember, the stovetop and oven are not to be used for storage. Number 2, ensure working smoke alarms are installed properly. Bed shaker and strobe alarms are available for hearing or visually impaired occupants. Number 3, plan your escape from fire based on your abilities. Keep your exit routes clear. Ensure windows and doors open easily and practice your escape plan. Number 4, when the alarm sounds, get outside and stay outside. Call 911 from your safe meeting place using a mobile phone. If you are unable to evacuate, shelter in place. Stay near a window and call 911. Don't forget to close the door. Number 5, exercise regularly to build strength and improve coordination and balance. Ask a doctor about appropriate physical exercise. Number 6, be aware of your surroundings, including uneven surfaces. Take your time when getting out of a chair or bed. Stand and get your balance before you begin to walk. Number 7, keep walking areas, pathways, and stairs well lit and clear of tripping hazards. Wear sturdy, well-fitting footwear and utilize handrails. And the last one is review your medications with your doctor. Keep an updated list of medications, medical directives, and emergency contacts posted on your refrigerator. Again, this is the website if you need to go look for that. Is there any questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Questions from the board? Questions from the board? Hearing none, questions from the community.
There was a fire yesterday in Kalihi Valley. Was it a house fire?
I believe it was a structure fire. That's what I heard this morning.
You know where in Kalihi Valley it was?
That I'm not too sure. I don't have the record for that one. You can call fire dispatch if you need to find the record for that one.
Okay, it was just an inquiry. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much. Any more questions from the community? I see and hear none. Thank you very much and see you next time.
See you. Okay, thank you. Good night.
Bye. Okay, moving on, we have HPD, Honolulu Police Department.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we cannot see you.
Okay. How about now? Got it? Yes. Okay. My name is Lieutenant Keone Hong, representing Honolulu Police Department, working out of the Kalihi Police Station. The stats for the month of July 2023. For burglaries, we had 2 compared to 2 in June. Motor vehicle thefts, we had 2 compared to 5 in June. Thefts, we had 6 compared to 9. And car break-ins, there were 7 compared to 6. The total calls for service were 598 compared to 643 the month prior. For some follow-ups, I guess, from questions, I wasn't the representative last month, but I was told there were some questions. So the first one, I believe, was regarding what types of fines violators face regarding the red light cameras. So most of the fines are for disregarding red light or not stopping before turning right on red. All of those fines are $97. That's the fine amount. The other question, I believe, was regarding traffic lights on Hawaii Street turning east onto School Street. I guess the traffic lights were not synced properly. So the best people to call would be the Traffic Signals Division at 808-768-8387, because they maintain the 760 traffic signals, 135 traffic cameras on the island. So they're normally regular business hours, Monday through Friday. So if there are traffic light problems after hours, you can call 911. The officer will be sent to check on the problem, and then we can notify them at their after hours number. But the public number was at 808-768-8387 during normal business hours. And then there was another question about, I believe, congregating and the limits to how many people, I believe, something like that. So if it's a public venue, such as a park, they may need a permit for commercial use. That's like if they're selling goods, farmers market and whatnot. If it's at if it's for a picnic, if it's 50 or more people, they need a permit. Under 50 people, they consider it just a family gathering, but over 50 people, they need a permit. So that's when we would step in if there's like a 100 people picnic, and if HPD can check if they have a permit. And of course, at rec centers and whatnot, they have their own rules. But for the public parks, I believe that was the question. But I think that's all I need to follow up on. Let me know if there was anything else or if there's any other questions for today.
Thank you very much. Question from the board, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, LT. On the 725 last month, there was a robbery at 2300 Kalihi Street. You know anything about that robbery? Seeing how it's right next to my house?
Let me check for that. Do you have the report number by chance? Yeah, I would be...
Sure, I have the incident number. It's 23075-0505 is the incident number. And it occurred at 725 last month at 8:08 in the morning. At 8 a.m. somebody got robbed.
Check. And that was July 25th, you said?
Yes.
Let me check real quick. I might be able to help you on that one. Sorry, looking at my computer screen.
Okay.
Looks like there's a public information. I'll just read it off. On Tuesday, July 25th, 2023, at about 8:39 hours, a call of a theft from KC Market was called in where the suspect punched the store owner who attempted to retrieve stolen items. It seemed like it was a shoplifting that turned into a robbery. Owner got a bat from his home across the street, and upon his return, the suspect showed a folding knife to the owner before fleeing on foot south on Kalihi Street. The suspect then punched the responding officer who attempted to stop and detain him. Suspect then continued to run south on Kalihi Street until more officers arrived and were able to place the suspect under arrest after a taser was deployed. Both the officer and suspect were taken to the Queens Medical Center for treatment of their injuries. So that's what the highlight says. Is that the one you're talking about, probably?
That is exactly what I'm going to talk. Thank you very much for the update and information on that. The last question I have is, in the last 6 months, in our area alone, we had 50 cars stolen. So do we recover any of these cars? Or do the residents get those cars back? Any of them?
Sometimes they do. I'm sure some are just, a lot of times, if they recover them, it's unoccupied, maybe parked in a tow zone. So when the officers do their tow zone checks, they come across a car in the tow zone, and then it flags as stolen, and then we return it to the owner. If we do find,
no, I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, there's other ways too. Like if we do find it driving around, or maybe it's a work truck, and then one of the employees see it driving around, then we try to do a traffic stop and apprehend. But those are some of the ways that it does get returned. But they do get recovered and returned.
We don't have the number of how many are recovered, because you have a recovery report which show us how many are recovered.
Yeah, the traffic division would probably be the best, because they would compile all of that information for the different districts.
Yeah, and every year I ask them every month I ask them if they deploy the license plate reader card, which catch suspects in cars. And last time they were talking about tickets, but license plate reader cards doesn't write tickets, and there's no tickets to be written from that car unless you're writing expired registration or, safety check. So it has nothing to do with tickets. I just want to know of all the stolen cars in our area, because I've never seen one in my area to help us keep our cars in our driveways. So
we do have
just asking.
a plate reader that goes out at the different shifts in Kalihi. I know it was down because of software updates, but we do have it back in, I guess, in the fleet.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions from the board for HPD? Seeing none, any questions from the community? I see and hear none. Thank you very much, Lieutenant. We'll see you next night.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, moving on, we have the Board of Water Supply, Iris Oda. Are you here, Iris? Miss Iris Oda, are you here? I don't think so. Let's go back to her after, if she comes back. Okay, let's move on to our residents and community concerns. Meeting participants may present their community concerns at this time. Note, due to state sunshine law, concerns not listed on this agenda may be presented, but no board action can be taken. Items brought up may be placed on a future agenda for discussion or action. Any residents' concerns? Mr. Song, go ahead.
Spencer and I are talking about when I should make this comment.
We're thinking a state rep might be best, but we can do it here too.
Because I did send you the email, so you do see it, right? You do receive it. So it's just me reading what this says, and I don't need to technically read it here, but I could inquire one of the state reps, as Spencer made a comment about.
You can just summarize it probably, Mr. Song.
So this is the 4th neighborhood board meeting I'm attending. I'm moving away from complaining about, the red light cameras to about solutions. Obviously, Vineyard Boulevard is the most dangerous road in Hawaii because it has 4 red light cameras on a 3.5 mile road. And then it basically describes what Vineyard Boulevard is. It's not a street and it's not a road. It's what the group called Strong Towns call a strode. It's not it's not a street and it's not a road. It's basically a futon. It does both, but it does both pretty badly. And so there's YouTube links that you can see over here. You could take a look for more definitions about what a strode is. And then moving forward, I'll give more suggestions about how we could fix Vineyard Boulevard. And just for the mayor, I couldn't find the mayor's email, but over here it's about our metro system in Hawaii and where it's ranked, where this guy mentions Hawaii's metro is in general. I'm not reading the whole thing.
Okay, thank you very much. Did you need an answer right now? We can ask someone who may be able to answer it.
I will ask the state people when they come on to keep this thing moving a little bit faster.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, Mr. Franklin?
Yes, I have some questions for Mr. Soon because I did read his proposal. I don't want to think he presented something to the board that we did not read. My first question, Mr. Soon, I'm curious as how you correlated red light cameras to low income people. Are you suggesting that the majority of the people that receive red light tickets are low income?
The reason why I correlated that is because if you look where on Vineyard Boulevard, where all the low-income houses are with the red light cameras are on Vineyard Boulevard. That's how I make that correlation. And then on the School Street and Kalihi, there's 2 low-income houses over there too. So that's how I made that correlation.
Right, I'm trying to figure out what low-income people have to do with red light cameras.
Because they have to go through it. And if you look at the Mayor Wright housing, it's right outside the housing, right? Yeah, Mayor Wright housing is here, and then you have 2 red light cameras on either side of it when they're leaving. So
I understand that,
fair?
Well,
They have
it
to
could
go
be
through it every
fair
day.
if they do not. Most low-income people don't have cars, but I'm thinking you're correlating red light cameras like they are the ones getting the tickets.
But I'm saying
That's what I'm trying to understand. Are you saying because you put red light cameras close to there that they are getting tickets? I lived in a housing project myself, and majority of us ride the bus. So I'm trying to figure out how you correlated red light cameras to low income.
Well, the people I know in Mayor Wright housing do have cars. And majority of them that I personally know and I pick up and drop off or I visit over there
I
do
understand
have
that, but
cars. And so, you know,
are there
I understand that you
are there
don't
any
drive.
correlation?
Well, that's what I was asking. for the
Are there any
statistics.
correlation that the people getting tickets are from low income housing?
That's why I was asking for the statistics on, from the
Okay.
officer, and they're not giving it to
Right.
us. Just like how you're asking for statistics and they're not giving it to you either.
Okay, that's one of my questions because I was trying to tie the low income housing to them. I would say that I know that red light cameras generate a lot of income for the city, but they also change people's behaviors. And I say that because they're averaging 1,500 red light tickets a month or more.
For
So,
that answer, Franklin, for that answer,
Huh?
there's other means of changing people's behavior than by giving them tickets. And that's what I'm going to start going into right now,
Well,
in the future meetings. How do you change people's behaviors and have them want to slow down and enjoy the city instead of forcing people by punishing them? You know, I understand where you're coming from, but we have to make people want to slow down naturally. If you design a road that goes 50 miles an hour and expect someone to drive at 10 miles an hour, people aren't going to do that. It was proven during COVID that people never did slow down.
Then under that rationality, we should not write tickets ever, and people should correct their own behavior. That's what you're saying? I mean, why are we
No, I'm
writing?
saying we could design roads effectively and efficiently, so people would naturally want to slow down. And
I
that's what I'm
understand that,
getting at.
but right now we got 1,500 people a month plus going through red lights while other people are going through green lights. And you don't see that that's dangerous?
What I'm saying is the way the state is going about it is wrong. And that's why I'm here. I'm trying to
Well,
correct. You're trying to
I
correct people's
understand.
behaviors, and I'm trying to correct people's behaviors, but there's proper ways of doing it, Franklin. Instead of forcing people and making people pay more in taxes and fines for something that the state has messed up in the first place. If you mess up, Franklin, why should I get punished for your mistake?
I understand that,
Why
but
should
you
I
want
get punished because of your behavior?
you want the board to say that red light cameras are what? Unsafe or dangerous? Why should we ask for them to be taken down? That's my question. I mean, they are
Because there's
1,500
other
people is going through a light.
because there's other ways of handling it, Franklin. And you're jumping ahead. You're probably like 4 meetings ahead right now. Those are awesome questions, Franklin. But I could only give a 3-minute presentation at a time. If I
Well, I'm
had
trying
more
to-
time.
I wanted you to know I'm reading your stuff and I'm the correlations you're making, and I think personally that people going through a red light is really dangerous. That's me personally. I mean, I'm just asking for me on the board before you brought it to us. So that's what I'm asking. And then I looked at your, the things you want to do, like move the bus bench. I think that will force more pedestrians into the intersection on Leaky Leaky.
Intersection.
And
No.
there are bus stops
On
on
the
every
other
corner.
end.
But that would force the people coming out of Cam Shopping Center that catch the bus, it will force them into the intersection to cross the street to catch the bus. That's what we're saying. So we will force
We
more
have to
people
design-
into the intersection.
Have to design safer and more efficient intersections is what I'm getting at. There's
All
other
right.
ways of doing things, Franklin, besides putting red light cameras everywhere. Just because you make a mistake, that doesn't mean we need to be paying fines for your mistake because you designed something poorly.
If somebody goes
And
to
that's
a red
what I'm saying.
light, they made the mistake. I don't know why you keep saying if you make a mistake. If someone goes to a red
Because
light
the
camera,
state
they
made a
get
mistake. The state made a mistake on how they designed the intersections, and now they're trying to correct our behavior because of the way they designed it by punishing us. Instead
So
of
you're saying that the
punishing us,
congestion,
they need
so
to
that-
redesign these intersections and streets to make it more effective and efficient.
all right, thank you, Mr. Soon.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me interject a little bit. I guess what Mr. Song's asking is for the state to do something about the red light cameras that's being implemented across the board. But Mr. Song, I believe this is for everyone else across the board. It's not only for the housing people. This is for all of us. This is for all of our safety. And I guess that's about it. And if we really wanted to change it or want the state to change it, we have to go to the state legislature and talk to the legislators. Okay? Thank you very much for that robust discussion. Let me go ahead and call on another community concern. Any more community concern? I see and hear none. Thank you very much. Let's move on to our city elected officials. First up, we have Mayor Rick Blanjardi's representative, Bandmaster Clark Bright.
Aloha
ahead, sir.
Chair, aloha members, aloha community. Wanted to kind of start off with just the heart of our mayor as we all go through this process of what's taking place in Maui, and wanted to just share some of what he mentioned. Our hearts go out to the residents, businesses, and communities of Maui who have been impacted by this tragic event. Our thoughts are with those who have lost their homes, livelihoods, cherished possessions, and in the most devastating cases, their loved ones. I want to assure the people of Maui that the City and County of Honolulu stands ready to do anything and everything we possibly can to provide support and resources to aid in the rescue, recovery, and rebuilding efforts. Our government, in collaboration with state agencies and nonprofit organizations, will work diligently to ensure that those affected by the fire receive the assistance they need to rebuild their lives. Just a quick message from our mayor. Um, Hitting some of the highlights, and I'll do this quickly to get into more of the concerns from follow-ups from last meeting. Some of the highlights on the newsletter, which a link does appear on in the chat, consists of protecting our paradise. There is a new agreement with the Matt Levi Security to provide specialized security team along Kuhio Beach, which is taking place soon. Also, some key hires in the administration, Jean Albano with the Department of Facility Maintenance, as well as Dita Holyfield with Enterprise Services. Skyline's first month ridership, 170,185 riders during the first month, hoping to increase that number as students get back to school. The affordable housing in Honolulu. On July 17th, Governor Josh Green signed an emergency proclamation to combat the escalating affordable housing crisis in Hawaii. Now, a collaborative effort by the state and all 4 counties will seek to streamline the regulatory process for the development of 50,000 housing units over the next 5 years. And finally, keeping our neighbors safely housed as housing costs increase. Neighbors are struggling more than ever to pay rent and utility bills. The city did provide 8 community events for the RURP, the Rental Utility Relief Program, and is funding $25 million in state and local fiscal recovery funds to assist. Also in the chat, I did put the website information for Budget and Fiscal Services, who is reminding everyone about real property tax credits and how to apply. All right, hitting some of the questions from the last meeting. The first issue involved illegal parking. Vehicles illegally parked on the corner of Hawiki Street and Lokelani Street block visibility for turning traffic. And I really want to thank the members who did present that, because on July 25th to 26th, Corporal Robert Del Rosario of District 5 Community Policing Team made checks for illegally parked vehicles at the corner of Hawiki Street and Lokelani Street. During the checks, 7 citations were issued for parking in the intersection. Officers will continue to make checks and take appropriate enforcement action for violations they observe. It would also help police if you promptly notify them by calling 911 as they observe the possible violation. The next one involved the traffic light timing. I believe we took care of that earlier. And the last one was an issue about an albizia tree in a privately owned property of 365 Ukiuki Place. Department of Parks says they did inspect it on July 18th, and they found that it was in the private property area in Kalihi. It is then the maintenance and responsibility of the private property owner, according to DPR. Thank you, Chair. Open for further questions or follow-up.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the board? Mr. Franklin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bright. I'm curious about that situation. When that situation is on private property, do the owner get cited, or we just don't drive away and say it's not ours? But do they cite him or give him a notice to correct his tree or fix it?
I do not believe, thank you for that question. I do not believe they cite them. They just tell them that it's their responsibility. There may be a case if it's infringing on others' property that they may be asked to do that, but I am not quite sure exactly of the rules. We can follow up with DPR should you request further information.
Thank you. My next question has to do with the 311 app again. For the last like 15 days, I've been working with the county and city of Honolulu and the state of Honolulu trying to get grass cut. And I have filed 3 complaints, one in a Honolulu complaint highway, honolulu.gov with the state, and the other one with DOT advocate, POA at Honolulu. But I put one in the 311 app because I'm asking that the grass that's on the bus benches on the little apron on the side of off the sidewalk before the street, that trying to find out who to cut it. But I did a 301 complaint, and they sent back the area of your concern is within private property, which is incorrect. That is the city's property, and the city has no jurisdiction on private property, which is absolutely wrong because I can't concrete my sidewalk, and if my grass grow too much, you would cut it. And they told me who to contact, which is planning division, which is also wrong. But the problem I'm having is when you can't leave them a comment or educate them, because as soon as they give you their comment, which is 100% wrong, they close it out, and therefore it's closed out, and you can't make a comment to even educate him that everything he said was incorrect. I was wondering if they're ever going to put a system in where if the 311 operator, whoever gives us this back from whatever their permit, we at least get to say that is wrong, or we can appeal it to the next person up, so that one, we can get good service, and second, the person giving this bad information can get some education on the laws and the rules and regulations of Honolulu.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Franklin, for that. I do believe that was requested previously. We even had the guy who designed the app at one of our meetings, and the answer was no at that time. However, that doesn't preempt us from doing a follow-up to see if that would be a viable option for people to explain themselves. I can thoroughly understand that. Also, what may help too is if you could give us exact information on the location that you are trying to get cut, which is a viable concern, absolutely. We may be able to help on our side as well.
I have contacted everyone. I was going to do it for the beautification committee. I've talked to everybody and their brother, and everybody's coming out and cutting. I got the grass at the bus bench cut, and I'm talking to the state. I sent them pictures today. They're going to cut it because it looked like they used a machete when they went down leaky instead of the lawnmower. But in our area, I got 10 pictures I'm going to share my screen with, and I already talked to every supervisor out so far in DOT, the Honolulu City and County DOT, and every one of them said that they're coming to cut our grass. But I also told them I've made complaints too, just in case they don't come fast enough. So it should be cut in the next week or so, I believe, sir.
Great, great. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Koga.
Ben Mr. Bright, I don't know, it's not a complaint, but more a question, and that has to do with is the city's 911 call center currently overloaded or understaffed or something along those lines? Because I had 2 occasions to try to call 911, which I did. And they always ask the question, is this an emergency? I said, no, it's not an emergency. So, I got put on hold for, I don't know, I wasn't keeping track of how long it was, but long enough that, I gave up. Well, basically, I hung up on my end. And on one occasion, the 911 operator actually called me, says, do you still have the problem? I said, yeah, the problem hasn't gone away. So again, they asked the question, is this an emergency? I said, no, it's not. So I got put on hold again. So after a couple of minutes after that, I hung up again, So just kind of curious, is the 911 call center that backlogged or understaffed or whatever?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Koga, for that. I can certainly empathize with you. In a recent cabinet meeting, that exact point was brought up, and first responders and the leaders did reply that we do have a shortage in 911 call centers. It's very unfortunate, but what they try to do is take the most pressing emergency calls first and do their best job to get back to the other ones. But I do not know how much of a need there is, but it was mentioned that they do have to definitely hire more people for that cause. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any more questions from the board? Seeing and hearing none, any questions from the community for the mayor's office? Any questions from the community? I see and hear none. Thank you very much, Bandmaster Clark Bright.
Thank you,
See you
Chair
next
and
month.
Board.
Okay, moving on to Council Member Tyler Dos Santos Tam's office, Chief of Staff Brandon Mitsuda.
Hello, members of the board. How are you? So sorry, Lynn Robinson Ondorco is under the weather tonight, so I'm giving the report on her behalf and council members' behalf. We wanted to thank you for the opportunity for us to present our report tonight and just echo the concerns of everyone regarding the tragedies that have been happening on Maui right now. You know, we've been in communication with a lot of the council members there and the mayor's office, and it's so hard to watch Maui go through that. And, you know, we want to send all of our support to them. And we know that Hawaiian Airlines is doing things at the convention center right now to assist all of the tourists that are displaced and really trying to help in that effort. So Councilmember Dos Santos Tam, the entire city council, as well as the mayor as in Honolulu, stands ready, and state representatives to stand ready to help the people of Maui as they navigate through this really, really hard tragedy. Wanted to give you a few updates. First, the update that we did was this is from Mr. Franklin. Hi, Mr. Franklin. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, it was great to do the site visit with you and Lynn over at the Kalihi Uka Park, right next to the school. We did a follow-up site visit with the school, the elementary school, as well as their administration and the Department of Parks and Recreation. And what we're looking at is we're looking at putting cameras that come off the school to monitor that area, as well as more lighting coming off the school. And then they're also going to put lighting in the bathroom to make that brighter as well, so that people can see more in that area. The school is also going to be doing an improvement project that extends their secure area out towards the tree in order to lock that area up so no homeless individuals or any criminals can sleep in that area, to kind of protect that area. Also, too, that tree has been deemed to be a state tree, and so the Department of Education, the school, is working on trimming that tree. So that's the report from the Kalihi Uka school. But I see Mr. Franklin has a question. Go ahead, Mr. Franklin.
Sure. The problem
Did
we
you
had
want to
at
ask
first
the
was
question now?
Yeah, sure, please.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Franklin.
the problem we had when we first did this was we didn't want to go through DOE.
Right.
If they're put on the school, then we have to go through DOE instead of Park and Rec, who already gave us the approval to put them in the park. So we changed that to DOE instead of Parks and Rec.
No, so what we're doing is the second part of my report is that so Department of Education, DOE, is going to do their part on their side, but
Right.
then we're also going to be doing our part on the city side. So within the city park at Kalihi Uka Elementary, the Department of Parks and Recreation has told us that in Ala Moana, they have cameras on the Ala Moana comfort station and bathrooms there. And so we're
Right.
going to try to follow that model to get cameras on our city light poles that can
Right.
monitor the basketball court area and the park area, so that we'll have two sets of cameras. We'll have cameras from the city and cameras from the state. So everyone can work together to try to monitor that area. and light from the city and light from the state. So both sides are a lot brighter so that everybody's kind of working together.
Absolutely. My next question is because I don't want to go for the murals, which I'm going after a while.
Right.
Did they put one on the outside of the so it can watch all the walls? So if anybody graffiti our walls, we can make crime reports against them and turn them in.
Yes, that's the goal. So the goal is for the cameras to be able to see everything all along that whole area so that, the police, law enforcement, state sheriffs to enforce on school property can make sure that nobody graffitis on the campus as well as in the park.
All right. Lynn was supposed to be here. My next question for Lynn is: we designated 2 school signs. I guess Nuwana got a new solar school speed sign.
Okay.
On Kalihi Boulevard, we have 2 of them that are broken. One at 2306 Kalihi and one at 2335.
Got it.
2435.
Got
And
it.
all those need to be is just replaced. All
Sure.
the hardware is there.
Sure.
Then I didn't know if she was going to give me an update on when we were going to replace those signs so people going both ways will know they're in a school zone.
No problem. I have noted that down. I'll have Lynn call you back. Just wanted to give you some hope. In our newsletter, we actually fixed a solar speed sign on Nu'uanu Avenue. So all of the systems were all in place, and the department just went in there, turned it back on, and the lights started working again, and then everybody could see the speed.
Yeah, ours was built in 1972, so
Oh,
they're
boy.
gonna probably have to replace ours because
Oh, boy.
they're that old. And the last thing I have to say, because I read the newsletter too, and all of the talk about safety and children crossing the street. I asked Lynn are we ever gonna paint the crosswalks around Kalihi School when the kids are crossing the street, so they'll be in a bright colored a crosswalk when they approaching.
Absolutely. So what we'll do is I made a note of that. I'll follow up with her, and we'll make sure to increase all of that bright street crosswalk lines, and to make sure that people can see them. We'll definitely do that.
And here's my very last question, I promise.
Sure.
I talked to Mark Frost from Department of DOT Transportation on Khalid Street, and I was showing him all the grass I'm going to show everybody for the nights up with. But he also told me that every week we get a street sweeper that comes down our street. And I told
Okay.
him I haven't seen one in 10 years.
Oh, okay.
And then I have not. And so I talked to his boss, Sean Barbosa,
Mhm.
and this is the problem I have. He said, you do get a street sweeper, but they don't work in the day. They only work at night.
Oh, I see.
And I told him there is not a parking space open on Kalihi Street at night. But we have signs that says no parking between 3:30 and 5:30 on the east side, and no parking between 8:30 and 6:30 and 8:30 in the morning on the west side. And he said that he don't know if he can do that because street sweepers only work at night. They don't have any that works at day. And I was amazed at that, that we can't get one. We designate a time already for no parking. He can just come down the street and clean out street. I'm trying to see if we can talk to someone to get them to change the hour and have a street sweeper that works in the daytime.
Sure. That's very well noted, and we're going to make that request of the departments to have a street sweeper come during the daytime.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Koga.
Good to see
Yes,
you.
Chester. How are you? Good to see you.
Good. I have maybe it's a tough question, but did the councilman issue a statement as to why he believed that he deserves the pay increase that was automatically given to the council members? You don't have to answer that right now because as far as I know, no statement was issued by the councilman himself.
We will follow up with you, Chester, directly. No official statement was given, but the council member's position is that he does work nights, weekends, 24/7, and the pay raise was not done by the council; it was done by the salary commission, and he feels that it's warranted at this time.
Well, he took the job knowing what the situation was. So anyway, I just leave it at that because other members in the community have been asking that same question. He's the
Absolutely.
new kid on the block. He knew what he was getting into. So anyway, so much for that. Other council, I would say 3 other council persons have, quote, rejected the pay increase. So anyway, I don't want to take more time.
Thank you, Chester. We'll communicate with you directly on that issue.
Did you want to continue your report,
Yes.
Brandon?
Yes. So also too, we wanted to give an update regarding our DeCourt Park community meeting, and I see some neighborhood board members that were there. I see the Kumalais that are there at the table there. Thank you so much for coming to our DeCourt Park community meeting hosted by Representative John Mizuno. I see May Mizuno right there. Thank you, May, for helping us host. We did a lot of good talking there at DeCourt Park, and the issue there is we have so much homeless that are up above DeCourt Park in the tree line. We are forming a neighborhood security watch in that area. We're also forming an adopt a park group as well to take care of the park. The idea with the neighborhood security watch for DeCourt Park is to have a roving neighborhood security watch that could go through all parts of Kalihi and Kalihi Valley to help the community. And so that was a really good thing that came out of that meeting. We had over 50 members of the public there, the Honolulu Police Department, all of the city departments, and we're really feeling like we're moving in a right direction to take back DeCourt Park. We have the Department of Community Services as well as HHHRC and other service providers that will be going up into the homeless area encampments to offer them some social services. And then after that, we're also going to have our Department of Facility Maintenance and Environmental Services departments go up there to clean out all of the structures and other materials that have been accumulating up there. On top of that, we're working with the Parks Department at DeCourt Park to, number one, increase the lighting at the park, increase the lighting on the comfort station, and also to close the comfort station after the park closes at 10 p.m. And we want to fortify the comfort station so nobody can get into that comfort station to use the water and the facilities overnight. So there's a lot of good things coming to DeCourt Park. And because of Representative John Mizuno's partnership with us, we really feel that we're moving in the right direction. On top of that, we also had a Wilson Tract neighborhood security watch walk as well. And based on that, we had the Honolulu Police Department prevent the illegal U-turns that have been happening at the intersection of Wilson and Alu Street. So what's happening is that I guess at Camp 4 housing, one of the entrances was blocked there for construction. So a lot of the residents there are making this fast illegal U-turn right at that intersection. So we just had the police remind them not to do that. We had the police station there to educate them, to have them come onto Wilson Street and properly come down the street, stop at the stop sign, and then take a left onto Alu to go into the housing. And the situation has gotten a lot better with that education, and the residents are telling us that there's less dangerous driving and there's less illegal U-turns in that area. We also wanted to let you know that game rooms have been a huge request by Kalihi Uka Elementary, as well as the neighboring community. And we want to let you know we're working with the Honolulu Police Department to crack down on those game rooms, especially the one across from Kalihi Uka. So more updates are coming in the future for that. We just can't really release a lot of information because the police are doing their operations in order to shut that illegal game room down, not just for a little while, but permanently. So that's something good that we can report. We also wanted to let you know that we have a community meeting that's going to be happening on August the 31st from 6 to 7 p.m. Check-in will start at 5:30 at the Kuhio Park Terrace. And the reason why we're going to be doing that is We want the community to be able to come out to voice their concerns and let us know how the city and the state can help in that area. So it'll be Councilmember Dos Santos Tam, Senator Donna Mercado Kim, and Representative Ganadan will also be there as well. We also wanted to inform the residents that, let me just, sorry, my iPhone shut down here a little while. Okay, we have a transportation committee meeting on August the 22nd at 2:30 p.m. And we're going to be hearing Bill 20, CD1, and that's relating to restricted parking zones. We have found that the restricted parking zones have really helped certain areas in Kalihi and Kalihi Valley. And this bill is designed to expand that zone to more places around Oahu. Now, this is an educational hearing as well to let everybody know that the street has to be investigated by the departments. It has to be deemed necessary and good for restricted parking zones, and the department has to make the determination that that area would benefit, and then the residents can proceed with having restricted parking zones in those areas. One thing now that has been improved on Wilson and Jenny is that there is no waiting period now for the police. The police can automatically ticket if a car is in the restricted parking zone and is not supposed to be there and doesn't have the placard. There's no grace period anymore. So I think with that, I'll stop my report, and I can take any further questions from the community.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions? Any more questions from the board?
I think somebody's raising their hand, May, in the room at Kapala Mahale. They're right there.
Oh, that's after. It's gonna be on the community side.
Okay.
Any more questions from the board?
Sorry.
Any-
Oh, Alan.
Hi,
Oh,
Brandon.
Mr. Kumalai.
How's it?
Yeah, thanks, Alan. I just wanted to follow up a comment on the hearing in August. For those that in a community interested in passing the RPZ bill, they welcome testimony, written testimony, or if you can, come down to the hearing and testify in person. So if people here observing the meeting, we welcome testimony, written or in person, for that
Yes.
RPZ hearing. Thank you.
And thank you for that comment. I know that the Kumalais are coming, and I know that Representative John Mizuno will also be there to give a little history, to let people know why RPZ has worked so well in Kalihi. And we really look forward to anybody that wants to submit written testimony via email or physically be there in person. And so we thank the Kumalais for coming down, and we look forward to seeing you again at the Honolulu City Council. Oh, May, you're muted.
I'm so sorry. Okay, any more questions from the board? Seeing and hearing none. Any questions from the community? Mr. Suong?
Brandon, my only
Hi.
question is really this RPG thing. You said it's Tuesday the 22nd, 2:30. Is it the
Yes.
Honolulu Hale?
Yes, it's at Honolulu Hale, and it will be on the 3rd floor of Honolulu Hale. Ever since the pandemic, we've removed our committee room downstairs on the 2nd floor. So now all the committees now are up on the 3rd floor in our main full council chamber.
And is there
And then what
any,
you want to do is, as you're facing the council chamber, you're going to enter in on the right-hand side. That's where members of the public can enter, that right-hand side door, and provide the testimony. You can also ask the Kumalais. They've come down before, and they're experts on how to do that.
And is there any security checks that we have to go through?
No security checks. At the Hale, we do have a police officer that's stationed there but we don't have any type of metal detection or any type of security check.
Thank you.
You're
If I
welcome.
can, I will definitely be there.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions from the community? I see and hear none. Thank you very much,
Aloha.
Mr. Brandon.
Take care.
See ya. Okay, moving on. We have our state elected officials. Governor Josh Green's representative, Deputy Director Kristen Sakamoto.
Aloha, everyone. Kristen Sakamoto here on behalf of the Office of the Governor. So first, just to follow up on questions that were raised during last month's meeting, with respect to the question raised about the red light cameras and traffic studies, the Hawaii Department of Transportation's website, I have been informed, has a lot of information, including a link to an extensive baseline study that was done, as well as an engineering report. And I will drop that in the chat in a minute. But the DOT's website also provides the number of citations issued and will be updated monthly, so you can view the violation trends. We were also informed by the vendor who provides the citation counts that the Vineyard Palama, Vineyard Leliha, and the Vineyard Nu'uanu lights, which are the first three that were put into service. So they have seen a 40% reduction in red light running since the beginning of the program. I was also asked a question with respect to the housing shortage. And so we are currently consulting with the Department of the Attorney General and other departments to come up with the best solutions to address the housing issues. It's one of the governor's top priorities to build affordable homes, and we are considering all options. And speaking of housing, part of the governor's newsletter for this month, there is a highlight in there regarding the emergency proclamation, which was mentioned during the mayor's report as well. So the emergency proclamation for housing was issued on July 17th. A question and answer was scheduled for today with Nani Medeiros, our chief housing officer, but unfortunately, due to the emergency situation on Maui, we had to postpone that. So stay tuned. We will be rescheduling that and we'll be providing the public with the date and time of that. So that's all I have right now. And I'm open to any questions and concerns that I can bring back with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. Questions from the board, Mr. Koga.
Oh, thanks for your report, Kristen. I did have a comment, and this came up several times, both in the newspaper or in the press, as well as other, you might say, talk shows. And this has to do with what is considered affordable in terms of housing. And in a lot of situations, you might say the working class people that these affordable housing is directed towards are not affordable, in the sense that I don't know, maybe the number is not helpful in that the area median income for on Oahu anyway is so high that it makes it almost impossible for working class or the workforce housing to be affordable for these people. Anyway, that's just a comment that I wanted to pass on. So in a sense that what being touted as affordable housing is not really affordable.
Thank you for your comment. I will pass on.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, I got a question for the governor. Everyone talk about housing shortage, but there's 9 companies in the United States that own 80,000 homes each, and they're the ones forcing the price up and forcing the price down. My question to the governor is, how many homes can a company own in Hawaii? And because they buy them cash outright, which squeezes the market. So I want to know if any of those companies exist and if the governor has any legislation that he's going to pass to keep companies from buying 100,000 homes on Hawaii, because we don't have any homes here for that many companies as a whole. They hold these 80,000 homes and they rent them out. They do not sell them. So they're the ones causing the squeeze on the market. So the housing crunch is caused by companies. Even the United States Senate is trying to pass legislation to keep these companies from acquiring 80,000 homes each. Then that's my question. Is that occurring? And is the governor going to do anything to keep that from occurring again?
Thank you. I know that you kind of touched on this last time, and I think you mentioned a bunch of companies who own a lot of real estate on the mainland. And I know that the governor's office had taken that comment into consideration in crafting this response, and they are working with the Attorney General's office to see, you know, what can be done. But I will pass on your additional questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions from the board for the governor's office? Seeing none, any questions from the community? Mr. Song.
Kristen, about the housing section, who do we talk to and reach out to about this discussion? What is there a certain department we could talk to? I used to work with the PIOPSI about this conversation. Didn't like the 100% direction that they were going with this, but there are solutions and there are tools available to make this happen, and where private landowners would want to contribute to the housing solution with some tweaks in the regulation housing zone. Who would we reach out to that?
Now, let me get you a contact, and I can perhaps send it to the chair for dissemination, or if you want to provide me your email address, I can put mine in here as well, and then I can get that back.
My email is jsoong, SOONG, @outlook.com.
At outlook.com? Okay, I will look into that and get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any more questions from the community? I see and hear none. Thank you very much, Deputy Director Sakamoto.
Thank you.
We'll see you next month. Okay, moving on to Senator Donna Mercado Kim's office. Nadia?
Hello, good evening. My name is Nadia Garcia, representing Senator Kim's office. It's the first time I've seen you all in quite some time. Happy to be back again. I will begin with the follow-up from a concern or a question that was brought up last meeting regarding the Kalihi Valley homes, community center being demolished. And I believe the question was from neighborhood board member Ikaika Hasi. But however, we were able to follow up on the matter, and the update is there will be funding for the project requested in the next legislative session to build a new community center. So that's coming up, and for any follow-up questions in that regard, I'll be happy to help. Aside from that, the Senate is taking action on judicial appointments in a special session coming up on August 21st to the 22nd. So it's a senatorial duty to meet with the appointees as a part of the advise and consent process. So that's what many of the senators are busy doing at this time. Aside from that, Department of Transportation Services is submitting a grant to the U.S. Department of Transportation for a Safe Streets and Roads for All grant, and it's still in the application process, but Senator Kim is fully supportive of it. So for the first time in decades, the roadway safety project is installing the new walkways where there's a great need and demand, but no explicit dedicated funding. So the application is for 3 particular walkways in our proximity, which is Gulick Avenue and Beckley Street, Palama Street and Kanoa Street, and Pu'uhale Road. Aside from this, I will be happy to take any questions, and as a kind reminder, we would love to add you to our contact list. So if you would like to plug in your name and email address in the chat, I'll be sure to consolidate that with the rest of our constituent list. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nadia. Any questions from the board for Senator Kim's office? Seeing none, any questions from the community? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. And if you guys are not still in their mailing list, and if you wish to receive any newsletter or correspondence from their office, you can plug in your name on the chat room. Thank you. Thank you, Nadia. Okay, moving on. Representative Mizuno is currently in a meeting, and so he is unavailable to provide his report at this time. So we are going to do the standing committee reports right now. The State and County Budget Committee, Chair Ethan Dayton. I don't see him here. Is he here? Mr. Dayton, are you here? I don't think so. Okay, moving on to our Sidewalk, S-Curve, and Transportation Committee. Co-chairs, Hussey and Dayton. Mr. Hussey, I know you're there. Mr. Hussey, can you hear us? I guess he cannot hear us, but I know I saw an email. He's been requesting a venue for their meeting for September. Is that right, Mr. Spencer?
Yes, Chair. I got that email too. I'll work with Mr. Hussey.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you. So most probably he's going to make a report for our next month's meeting. Okay, moving on to our Beautification and Sustainability Committee. Co-chairs Randolph Franklin and Simeon Rojas. Do you have any report at this time? Mr. Franklin.
Madam Chair, from the beautification side, I've been working with, as you heard from the councilman, we're going to get lights and cameras put in Kalihi Uka Park. Also, I've been going up and down the street trying to get our grass cut for the beautification of our grass. And I'm going to upload some pictures if I can share my screen of all of the grass that really need to be cut. Because I realized that the city and the county is different from the state, and no one wants to tell you who's supposed to cut what. But in the last, I guess, 3 weeks, I have figured out which one of them is supposed to cut, sweep the streets, and do what they're supposed to do. So I've uploaded complaints to both the state and to the city and county, basically for their lack of service to our neighborhood. These are projects I've been working on for the last 2 years. So we're trying to get the school signs replaced in front of Kalihi School because they was 1970, they don't work. So hopefully we'll get 2 of those. Get the crosswalks painted surrounding the school. So that will be taken care of. I will not work on the mural until we get the lights and cameras up so that no one will graffiti it, even though we use an anti-graffiti space. So that when people drive the corridor of Kalihi Street, it would look really nice on the way to all of our homes. That's what I have for the community, the beautification committee. I did not work on sustainability at all. And I
Thank
honestly
you very
believe,
much.
I honestly, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, this is Simeon on the
Go ahead,
part.
Mr.
Yeah,
Rojas.
yes, part with the beautification and sustainability.
Sustain-
Right now
Yes.
we're we're making a plan, and we're kind of consulting experts and collaborating with others who already have started, and so hopefully we're we're gonna be able to come up with something in the future shortly.
Very good. Thank you very much. Spencer, did you raise your hand?
Hi, yes, Chair. I was just gonna ask Simeon if he could send me his email address. I still don't have it. My email is on the agenda. I can also put it in the chat, or he can just chat me his email address too. But yeah, I just need it. I gotta send him a couple forms. Thanks, Simeon.
Yes,
Thank
I think
you.
I put it on the
The
I think
chat?
yeah, I not on the chat. I think I put it on the sheet when we was in Waipahu area. That was my first time.
Oh, during the oath taking.
Yes,
Mm.
Okay.
but I can
Okay.
put it on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure. I didn't have it. I don't know if it got lost or what, but maybe I just didn't see it. But
Okay.
yeah, I'll still take it if you can. I'll send it. I'll send my email in the chat, and if you could just reach out to me.
Yes, I'll do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, can I make a recommendation? Or can I ask a question?
Thank you. Mr. Franklin, you have a question or
I
recommendation?
do, because the sustainability is such a big thing and beautification is such a big thing. Do the board think that we should separate them and make their own committees?
We have to put that in our agenda for the next time, and we have to vote on it.
All right, I have learned how to share my screen, so let me see if I can show you these pictures real quick.
Oh, for the beautification, go ahead. Real quick.
Real quick, I'm sorry. I had to get some help from my son.
Oh, cool.
Can you see that?
No,
Okay.
I think you have to request from Spencer
To
or
share my
Spencer
screen?
has to allow you to share your screen.
I'll ask Spencer if he would allow me to share my screen.
It should be allowed for everybody.
I'm clicking on it, yeah. Can everybody see it?
See it, yes.
Okay. These are some of the roadways or what our curve look like now that has not been cut. And these are the things I'm trying to get cut for our community because our streets should not look like this. And this is people not cutting our grass for a long period of time. And it's just overgrown everywhere, especially up in here, all over here, trying to get this done. And that's what I'm trying to get done, get someone to just cut our grass. All right, Madam Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you very much for working hard for that regarding that matter. I just have a quick comment regarding that. I believe they have scheduled grass trimming and stuff, but the problem here especially here in Kalihi Valley, it rains a lot and it grows faster than anticipated. So I guess we may have to request the city to look into it and maybe schedule if it's once a month, make it once in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so it won't
I've
look
talked,
like that.
I have talked to everyone, and I know for a fact that grass ain't been cut in like 4 or 5 months. And I talked to Mark Foros, who's the supervisor, who said he would come out and cut it last week. He did not. So I contacted his supervisor, Sean Probosa, and then I sent these pictures to his supervisor, Galvin Morit. I sent it to him because Mark Frost told me as he walked the streets with me, he walked up and down Kalihi with me, that he couldn't believe that our grass is like that. And I told him I know for a fact it ain't been cut in months. So, I mean, I know our grass go fast, but they have to come cut it at least sometime. So, but
That's
I've talked to them all and filed complaints with the Honolulu state and complaints with the city already, and I have the emails and the tracking numbers. So if they don't come cut it, I will know and present it to the board next month.
very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Franklin. And okay, does anyone have question? Seeing none, okay, let's move on to the RPZ committee.
Chair, we have one from Alan. And then could we
Oh,
get Randy to stop
sorry,
sharing?
I didn't see you. Go ahead, Mr. Kumalai.
Oh, I can comment now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
hey, in response to Mr. Franklin's request for cutting the grass, if I'm not mistaken, homeowners are responsible to maintain the frontage of their property. You know, right along the sidewalk and a curb.
Whoever lives nearby.
If anybody familiar with that regulation, but that's my understanding that we're supposed to be cleaning in front of our property.
So the DOE
I can answer
custodians-
that.
Yeah,
That's a courtesy, Alan. The city is responsible for the curb and the curb walk, not the homeowner. And I have talked to the people in charge, all of the supervisors. All of that belongs to the city. It's nice if you cut it, but the city has crews that I have talked to these crews that's supposed to come out, and they promise that, but that is not the citizens' responsibility. The trees and the sidewalk and the side curb urban all belongs to the city, and I have confirmed it 100%. It is a city responsibility to take care of that, and that's why they're coming out next week to cut it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Randy,
you,
could you
Mr.
please stop
Koga.
sharing your screen?
Oh, that's such
Yeah,
a-
Mr. Franklin, you can remove your screen now if you know how. Just kidding. There you go. Just click the X, I guess, on the upper right-hand side. Am I correct, Spencer? Anyway,
Sorry,
let's go to Mr. Koga, followed by Mr. Rojas.
I just wanted to reinforce the point that yes, that homeowners and businesses are responsible for care of the front of their properties. In addition, the city also has rules about what can be placed within the planting strips adjacent to the sidewalk. So it does make that difference. But likewise, Mr. Franklin is correct that both the city and state they're ultimately responsible.
And I can answer that. It's a courtesy if you're a homeowner, a nice homeowner, and you want to do it. You do it. Most people do, like I do in front of mine. But the obligation is to the city 100% to cut that grass and keep the beautification of it. That, and like I said, I've talked to all of them about, and I should have brought this section with me, but it is there because I like to give people sections when I talk to them about things. But it is the city's.
Okay, so then we can ask Mr. Mitsuda to go back to the city and ask them of whether we can do anything about the sidewalk what you call this grass or not, so we can follow through.
Absolutely. So what we'll do is I will have Lynn contact Mr. Franklin and we'll get all of the pictures from Mr. Franklin and we will submit all of those to the departments and let them know that the community is requesting to have it cut. And also to I can relay the information to the state transportation director Ed Sniffen to cut the grass if it's any state property as well. We'll get it done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we also wanted to know whether we can touch it or not. So
Touch it as far as
cutting
resident
them
touching it.
ourselves, yes.
Well, you're responsible as a resident for grass that's in front of your property. But some of the pictures that I saw were on like a city median, like a city area, like that's kind of away from property. Those areas are the responsibility of the city. So the city would take the responsibility to be trimming those areas.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
if it's by a bus stop or something that's not by a property, that would also be city as well.
So we would like to know on who to contact directly if anything comes up regarding this matter.
If anything comes up with this matter, just contact our office.
Perfect.
Myself and Lynn can assist.
I spent the last 3 weeks. I have everybody number. I have the
Great.
supervisors, their name, the superintendent.
Great.
I have had them come out. I have even walked the street with them, Kalihi
Great.
Street, and pointed to the grass.
Great.
And they have all said that it's their grass. They have to cut it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I'll give you all these numbers,
Thank you.
all the complaint numbers, anything you
Thank you.
want. For the
Thank
last
you.
3 weeks, I worked on this.
Great.
So I have it. You don't have to look for it.
No. And thank you for doing all that legwork. Lynn will take all that information from you and we'll put those requests in and we'll get it done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Rojas, you have anything to add?
Yes, I think it was answered. Yeah, I do see the grasses along the edges. After they cut the grass, they don't finish up cutting the grass, which is along the highway, Likiliki Highway, go towards the intersection of North King Street. No,
North
it's
School Street.
North School Street. Yes.
Mm.
So I think that was answered. I think that's the Department of Transportation. So I hope that they will respond to what Mr. Franklin had requested, and I think we should have a remedial action on that if it's not being answered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quickly.
Mr. Franklin, you have anything to add?
Yes, I have 27 pictures of that too, but that's another thing. That belongs to the state, the Leaky
yeah.
Highway, and I already contacted them and spoke to their assistant Leslie, who was very nice. And I have submitted a complaint at Complaint Highway Oahu at hawaii.gov and spoke to their supervisor, who's with Ed Sisson, and they. Thank you. And they are in the process of cutting that grass too because they thought the pictures I submitted them was outrageous. But as I said, I already talked to them and made a complaint for Leaky Highway because I told them that they use a machete to cut the grass and the grass is growing over people's fence. But I have 27 pictures I can share with anybody if they want to see those down Leaky Highway. Like I said, our street is city and county, and then the state has Leaky Highway in our area.
Yeah.
I have talked to them and put the request in already for both of those and made complaints, and I have tracking numbers for the complaints that I made. So if they don't get back in a timely manner, then I will voice my concern to the councilman, but I will come with ammunition stating that we gave them a fair amount of time to correct this situation, and they failed to do so.
And then Mr. Franklin, what I'll do is in the chat, I'll put my email. So if you can send me all the pictures that you took for the state already, then what I'll do is I will email Director Sniffen just to prompt him, just to say that we saw this at the Kalihi Valley Neighborhood Board to remind him. And he's very, very good at following up on our requests, and he will fix it for you.
All right, you'll have it by tomorrow morning. I have it. I'll send it to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your report. Let's move on to the RPZ committee. We have co-chairs Alan Kumalai and Lei Aloha Tumbaga.
No formal report other than what was brought up earlier in encouraging people to submit testimony in favor of the RPZ program.
Bill 20.
Thank you.
Lay, do you have anything to add?
Not regarding RPZ. Am I part of the? Am I a co-chair for RPZ?
Correct.
I didn't know I was. I was? Okay. I thought it was for like the banners, which is the
That one
but I
too,
thought
you
you mean
you
after.
were. Oh, thank you
Oh,
very
okay.
much, by the way, for the banners. Mr. Kumalai actually hung up the banners on, where was that? Kaivai Elementary School.
Yeah.
And it really looks good. Thank you. And thank
Thank
you,
you for
Mr.
that.
Kumalai. Yeah. And so maybe you and Mr. Kumalai, since now you know that you are co-chair of RPC, can work together on getting some testimonies for the upcoming hearing for Bill 20 on August 22nd. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we can move on to our approval of our regular meeting minutes for Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. Can I get a motion for approval? One, two, three, four.
I move to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Any second?
I second the motion.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any edits regarding our minutes for last month? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Other reports. We don't have any chair's report or correspondence at this time. Announcements. The next meeting is September 13, Wednesday at 7 p.m. and broadcast meetings are aired on Olelo Channel 49 on the fourth Saturday of the month at 6 p.m. and the first and third Sunday of the month at 9 a.m. There's an additional thing here that I just saw. For archives, you can find archives of handouts and reference materials concerning to the Kalihi Valley Neighborhood Board number 16 at this link that I cannot read off to you guys. Sorry. But it's on the agenda. You can just click on that if you are on your computer and you are on your agenda. Any more announcements, Mr. Koga?
It's not an announcement, more a question. We've been discussing having the board meetings at Kaivai Elementary.
Yeah,
Are we making progress along those lines? Because it's now been, almost 5 months since we've been talking about it.
I should have mentioned that. I apologize. I asked Spencer earlier before the meeting, and there is a progress, and hopefully they're going to sign the contract soon, and we are hopeful to have the meeting in person for September. Am I correct, Spencer?
Yep, we actually just got a call from them this morning, so as long as the cost works out, then we'll be there next month.
That's great.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Very good. Any more follow-up question, Mr. Koga?
Follow up. It's maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, we got this notice, I guess, from the city that basically said board members do not contact city agencies directly. Go through the neighborhood commission office. Are we still under that rule or no? Because not to put anything on Mr. Franklin, but the fact that he's making direct contact with these city agencies and not going through the neighborhood commission. I was just kind of wondering if there's any punishment for us doing doing that. Anyway,
Spencer, can you answer that question for us, please?
Yeah, sure. So I think the issue was just board members going out on their own to contact these department heads as a board member. I'm sure department heads would agree that they're open to public at any time. So if you want to contact them as a resident, that's fine. But that's what me and Bandmaster Braid are here for, is to help you guys do these things. So, you know, just like it's the process, and we'll get it done for you as soon as we can and as quickly as we can. But, you know, if a private citizen would like to contact the department, they're more than welcome to do so. Maybe just, I don't know. If we can help you, let us try and help you the best we can.
For stuff.
yeah, that was answer was about as clear as mud. But anyway, thank you for that response, because you know, we'll continue to do what we need to do to get the job done.
What is the consequence for this if we are going to?
They're gonna dock our pay, May.
Mr. Franklin, do you have any additional
Yes,
comment?
I would like to have this law because I like to contest it. Because here's the problem: you can't get anything done in Honolulu if I wait every month and have everybody tell me wait till next month. That's the problem. You can't get the street swept. You can't get things clean. You can't get lights. You can't get anything done in Kalihi if I have to go to it. So if there's a law or regulation, I need to have a copy of it so that I can challenge it. Because there's no sense in me being on this beautiful committee if I have to bring all my concerns to this board and then that's it. I mean, I understand everybody got their committees, but I've been working my tail off of mine and have achieved a great deal for this committee and this community.
You are doing good, Mr. Franklin.
And say that I have to stop to go through that, I'll challenge it. And if there's penalties, then I resign from the beautification committee and somebody else can do all the work that I'm doing.
No. We're not gonna let you resign.
No,
The
no,
real
we're not-
consequences are gonna make you mad.
That's what
going
I'm
there. We're
saying.
not going
So
there.
if there's a penalty for me working hard for this community by talking to city officials that we pay to get things done for this community, then send me a copy of it. I'll
There
go
is,
to it.
I don't think it's a law or a rule, Mr. Franklin. They're just trying to do this through channels so it doesn't, you know, overlap.
Well,
or
I am the
fluctuate
channel.
along
I'm
the
running
way.
for the beautification committee, trying to get our community beautified.
We understand that. We understand that. So
Well, I would like somebody to send it to me so that I could challenge it.
no.
So if there's
There
a
is
law-
there is really none. So what Mr. Koga was also trying to say is to just make sure that we all, the board members, are not in trouble of doing such a thing. But my understanding is we're not,
And I would like
not
to,
going to
all
be
I'm asking
penalized
for,
or
May,
anything.
is
They just
I'd
wanted
like to
to
have
help.
I would
They
like to
just
have a
wanted to
copy of
help.
it. I would just like to have a copy of the order.
There is no really order. I think the neighborhood board commission just emailed all the board members to just contact them directly if there are issues for city and state, so they can probably expedite it.
Well,
way they can
expedited means they'll contact me every other month because no one gets back to you, no one follow up, and no one completes anything. I know people think that I'm from like someplace else, but I like to get things done. I like to do follow-ups. I like to make phone calls.
Understood.
And I get things done, that like the lights in the park and the security in Kalihi Park, the murals going up. But if there's a order that states that I have to call the police, to call the commissioner to ask them if I could have my grass mowed, then I would like that somebody to give me that order. because I don't want to violate any rules or the sunshine rules. So all I'm asking for, May, is please present me with a copy of whatever you say that I'm violating, so that
I don't think that's part
then,
of the sunshine law,
then
but
why then why did
Spencer,
they
if
bring it
you could,
up?
yeah, Spencer, if you could send it to Mr. Franklin, then we can he can probably look at it.
Absolutely, so I can contest it. Thank you.
Okay, just email it to him, please, Spencer. Thank you very much. Okay, any more announcements?
Chair Mizuno?
Yes, Spencer.
Go ahead.
Okay, May, Chairperson, I just wanted to know if the banners will be ready. I know Spencer said they should be ready for us to distribute or put up. We put up one at Kaivai, and then also I know Lei also did a beautiful banner for the open market. And if we can, also put those up, it would encourage the vendors who come out on Saturday to, sell to the people their farm crops, yeah? Right. So Lei got the banners?
So how many banners do we have? 10, 11, 12?
Just for the meeting, it would be 10.
10?
Because that was agreed upon, yeah. But the I'm doing the People's Open Market on the side as like another project for myself to do, because I also want to think of marketing for it as well, right? To have like, people to know online. But I also want to just fund this banner myself, because it's pretty, and I want to do a test first to see if it will bring traction just from being up, but also want to get that social media engagement too.
Thank you, Lei. I know there are Facebook pages for neighborhood boards. Can I assign you to do that neighborhood board 16 Facebook page as well?
I didn't know we had one.
There was, and I don't think anybody is doing that anymore. So
If
maybe
we have a
Spencer,
way,
yeah,
yeah,
there
if
was
Spencer
neighborhood
has,
board 16. I
if I
saw
can get
one.
the,
It was
oh,
a while back though. I'm not sure if it's still up.
if we have access to it, I can, but if we have to start from scratch and make a new one, we can do that too. So just depending if we have access or not.
Okay, let's look into that. Thank you. Thank you, Lei. Okay, any more announcements? No more? Okay. If not, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next month.